And now for my next guest. We were supposed to have him last year, but the Gulf War broke out. Isn't that rude? Please welcome John Simpson. Does this make you nervous, being in front of an audience?
No, not really. I prefer not to think about audiences, though. In news, you just like to think you're talking to the cameraman, you know.
Do you ever see a crowd of people and think, uh-oh, I'm in trouble here, you know, when they aren't kind of your friends like they are tonight?
Yes, yes, when they gather and pick up stones and things, yes.
Have you been stoned?
I was stoned with blood in Iran once.
Did you do something bad?
Well, I was from the BBC.
Oh,
so
that
was fairly bad, yes. And then but they were quite nice about it afterwards, really. They didn't, you know, they said they hoped I hadn't, you know, had any problems or anything. So I said no, and, you know.
How many stones did they throw?
I wasn't really counting, you know, one by one. I mean, they you know, but they threw quite a lot of stones.
There was another time when they were beating you with sticks.
No,
They're either hitting him, beating him. What is it about you, John?
Yeah, they did. I know a man beat me in the face with a stick that said, "Long live Khomeini" or something. He apologized also afterwards. He said, would I like the little placard that he'd beat me with? So I said, you know, that was nice. That was a nice thought.
Because you that John saves, political kitsch from going around the world. You brought me something tonight?
I brought you some kitsch.
Johnny,
I brought you an Ayatollah key ring. Yeah, you can have a real... You can keep your keys on.
I'll fly to America with this and see how far I get. But it was a gift from John Simpson. What are your other items that you haven't given me?
I've got a really nice... I'm not going to give you this ever. It's a blow-up beach ball of Saddam Hussein. That's really nice. It says, "Long live our president." I love that. I've got a really, really, really nice brass head of Evita Peron, with her eyes crossed. That's nice. And I've got a big squeaky doll of Mao Zedong that goes like that when you press his head. That was quite nice. I don't know why they did that.
Do they do this to be funny, or are they...
No, they do it to be serious. Yeah. They do it to be really seriously serious. And also have a handkerchief with Stalin on it that looks as though you'll get killed if you blow your nose on him, you know.
You have to turn in your family and then blow. And you have bits of the wall, don't you?
I've got most of the Berlin Wall now. It's difficult to, you know, it's difficult to fit it all in. But I'm working it out. By the words, you can work out how to put it together by the words. Ceausescu was very good. I got a lot of Ceausescu stuff, yes.
What'd you get?
We got a lot of stuff from their lavatory, which was quite nice. Everything was gold in the lavatory. Almost everything was gold in the lavatory.
So actually, you looted their home. I mean, if they were alive, you could be arrested.
They didn't need it. They didn't need it.
God bless them.
Not when I did it.
Well, how do you cope with, you know, when you know, your own life? I mean, obviously, you're in the range of fire. You know, if I knew I was safe, but, I mean, you're standing right there in the, you know, target zone. How do you sort of deal with knowing how far you can get away from when your, you know, life is on?
It doesn't seem to affect in that way.
So even on the day, let's say, that war was, you know, you knew it was coming. You were one of the guys who said, I know that. Did you know the day? You knew it was the 15th?
Yeah. No, it was the 17th.
Where'd you spend the day?
The day I spent just ranging around getting supplies and getting nervous.
I heard you went to the races.
Oh, I did go to the races. Yes, that was a great moment.
Did you win?
Yes, I did a bit.
So that was the good news that day.
That was the good news, and my colleagues won. And the bad news was that the largest attack in the history of warfare took place that evening. Yes, that was a bad news.
You've seen Saddam up close?
I have. I've never interviewed him. We weren't allowed to.
Did you just stare at each other?
He gave me a bit of a look, yes. I thought, you know, I didn't, but then, you know, I didn't like him either. So.
But what do his eyes look like? I mean, is there a look that he's got that Idi Amin has, that Gaddafi has? Is there something behind those eyes that
he's not
they
as
all
crazy.
have?
He's not as crazy as Gaddafi. Gaddafi is barking mad. I mean, Gaddafi is, you know, he's long gone.
What happened when you met him? You went...
Well, I did an interview with Gaddafi, and I had asked him a perfectly simple, or at least straightforward question. What is Libya's oil depletion policy? And he'd throw his head back and laugh, you see, like, he'd go, ha, 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 ha. And he'd say, Libya's depletion policy is 35 million tons a year. And then I'd say to him, what about this business of funding the IRA? Libya never funds terrorist movements. And that was him, you know. His parents were lurking around in the back of the tent, and it turned out afterwards that he'd promised to house every single person in Libya before his parents. His parents would be the last people to be housed, so they were kind of looking a bit depressed. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes, looking at their watches and.
Imagine the calls he gets from his mother. Who else is as weird as he is, reading up close?
Well, I mean, Saddam is fairly weird. I have to say to you that I think the supply is dwindling. I mean, I think the supply of loony dictators is actually, you know, I think they ought to be perhaps preserved in some way, or you know,
on your wall.
Yeah, well, yes. No, I'm happy that they live. I don't. But you know, they should be in maybe at a theme park. You could have a sort of dictator theme park.
The last balloon.
That's right. Yes, they could have executions.
Man.
They could have executions and things if they want. You know, they don't have to shoot real people.
No, just
journalists.
What's the crew like? Because you're the front guy. What's the crew?
Well, lots of the crews are absolutely marvelous. Just. You know, what can you say about them? I mean, just lovely. There was one who in Baghdad, we were on the 22nd floor or something, and he said, and somebody gave us a melon, and the cameraman and the sound recordist fitted this melon out with cardboard fins and threw it out of the 22nd story window. And it exploded, really. It was a big explosion.
And the Americans reported it.
Well, I thought the air raid sirens were going to go. It certainly stopped the piano in the bar, you know, and people came crowding to the window. And of course, the wall was covered up to 10 feet with this kind of red melon juice. It was quite... looked good.
You know how to have a good time in a war zone. Let it be said about you.
Yes, I miss the melon. I would like to have eaten the melon.
Do you feel like, you know, adrenaline is addictive, you know, that you need more and more? I mean, what are you going to do when you know, are so...
It isn't that, really. Yes, it isn't that, really. It isn't that. It's just wanting to see things. You know, I can't bear the thought that I might read about it in the Independent or something, that I would, you know, I really want to see it. I mean, it really is. It's like a theatre goer or something. He doesn't want to read the reviews, you know. He doesn't want to read the reviews afterwards. You want to be there and you want to see it. And television is the best way of doing it, that's all. So it isn't really done for adrenaline. It's done out of interest. I mean, I'm actually quite interested. Sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't sound stupid.
It sounds stupid.
I would like your job, actually.
But you can have it.
I will. I'll come with you next time. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Sorry. Would you please welcome Teri Garr, flown all the way from America. Teri, how did you get started?
Well, I'm glad you asked because, well, it's a long story. You know,
really?
I started out as a dancer, but then I'll skip the middle part. I'll get to the end. I started, where's he going? Where's he going with the camera?
This is Alan Thicke. If you had all the money in the world and a 3-day weekend, where would you go? If daring adventure is what you're after, then join me for Travel Quest, Wednesdays this fall, only on A&E.